Is your small business growing? That's the question we address right here on the Grow Your Biz Show. This is where I interview strategic entrepreneurs who can help you to navigate your niches, grow your pitches, and grow your business. Hi, I'm Paul, and this is another episode of the Grow Your Biz Show, and I am thrilled to have Cynthia Cisneros on the program today. I've been chasing Cynthia for weeks and weeks and maybe months to become on the program because she's got a fantastic story. Cynthia, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome, and how's your day going?
It's going well, thank you.
Well, great to be here, great to have you. Cynthia is Cyn or Cynthia, both?
Both, either one.
Either one, you answered to hey, you.
Yeah.
Okay. Cyn is the founder of Cyn Concrete, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and she has a great story. So, Cynthia, tell us a little bit about your business.
So, my business is a concrete construction business. I'm a licensed contractor with the state of Nebraska. We do concrete construction, and it is also a social enterprise.
Awesome. Well, we're going to peel that back a little bit. What often I like to do is get the background on people before, instead of just jumping right into what they're doing now as a business, but how they got there is the story. In your case, the story is fantastic. So, so let's dive in. What did you what you do early on in your life as far as work, and where did that go? And tell us about the background.
So, single mom, 4 boys. I worked a lot of different jobs, but primarily have worked in social work. I have a history of trauma, so my way of giving back, my way of healing was to try to work in the area of women's issues. I believe a community is only as strong as its weakest girl. Okay. I believe I've been that girl in different situations at different periods in my life. Okay. And I also believe that I need to be the change that I want to see.
To be the change that you want to see. I love that. We've heard that before, but you're looking at somebody who has walked that walk and believes it. So congratulations on that. Well, tell us what that meant. I mean, how did you get into social work, and what kinds of areas and things did you do in that area?
Like I said, it's been mostly women's issues, whether it's maternal, child, and adolescent health, or sexual assault, domestic violence. I was trying to look for a way to heal. I was trying to look for a way to give back or to give meaning and purpose to things that have happened in my life. Okay. And it made me feel good. It fed my soul when I was doing it, but it wasn't feeding the household of 4 growing boys as well as
I can't imagine.
Would like it to.
Was feeding the soul, wasn't feeding the house. I think that might be a title of a book or something. Your book. I want to help you write your book. That's a great story. Yeah. And so you work for just various social service agencies and helping with domestic issues and women's issues and those kind of things. Tell us about what you felt. I mean, did you? Not specific cases, but tell us about what you felt when you're doing the job. How you help people and what you did for them, and what you didn't do, what frustrations you had as well.
Being a survivor of trauma, I'm very good in high crisis situations. Okay. My responses are very quick, and I'm a good problem solver. So that was always it was a very good fit for me, because the ability to walk alongside somebody during a high crisis situation.
Well, you're probably really good at assessing what's going on, and can relate. And how did you help them walk through it themselves?
You just have to meet people where they are.
What skills do you use? Let me ask it that way.
So for me, it's problem solving more than anything, and empathizing, compassion and empathy. Okay. People want to feel heard, understood, and they want to be empowered. And they don't necessarily want their problem solved for them, but they want to know how to solve problems. Right. Or what resources. I'm really good at connecting resources.
You are.
Yeah. You
help them find the resources they need in the community. And a lot of times people in traumatic or crisis situations don't know where to turn, right?
Right.
And you help them get down this path or that path and toward the marriage, the broker is what you are and what you do.
Yeah, and I've done it naturally. I was born in this country, but I was raised in Mexico, and so I've been I've been that bridge. I cross the international bridge every day to go to school, and I've always identified myself with that bridge because I've been able to connect people. I've advocated for my family since as long as I can speak.
Wow.
So that's always been a secondary role in my life.
Interesting.
No matter what.
When I interview entrepreneurs, I always often try to find what skill set and what traits really help them to be successful or to get started in their entrepreneurial journey. And I think the more I get to know you, the more I'm hearing that you are that broker, that connector, the person that really puts people together, and not only professionally but in your own life as well.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that trait, that skill, has helped you in your entrepreneurial journey as well?
Absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
As we're going to hear, I think it's all 100% of what you do in that. So, how long did you do social work?
I did it for a few years, 4 or 5 years probably.
Okay.
Yeah, on and off. The year 2016, I took a 1-year road trip throughout the entire country of Mexico. So that's definitely a gap in my work history, but
interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. 1 year, huh? Really? Wow.
A 1-year road trip throughout the entire country.
Holy cow! Did the boys go along?
The 2 youngest boys and my 2 dogs.
Wow. What kind of a vehicle?
Yeah.
Just a van or something?
Yeah, minivan.
Wow, that's stories right
another
there
story.
too. Oh man, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. And so, at what point did you decide that? How did you decide? Obviously, the household wasn't getting fed. You needed more. You needed more financial help. Being social work wasn't enough. How did you decide what was your next step?
So I usually exclude TV from my house because I have 4 boys and I don't want them thinking that they are less than or that they need things that they don't need. To start desiring things. I think commercials are super bad.
Ads, right?
Yeah, I think TV is super bad for you. So I don't usually have TV in my house or TV service. And I was hooking up my internet, happened to have a great sales guy at Cox that talked me into getting Cox television service. I saw a thing on one of the news channels, MSNBC, CNBC, I don't know what it was, that said that concrete has a ridiculous profit margin. I think I want to say they said something like 80% profit margin.
Okay. Concrete, okay. Wow.
I wasn't sure exactly what profit margin meant. I remember Googling it, but I knew it was good.
Yeah.
I knew that
it's a good thing.
It was a good thing that it had like such a big. And then when I realized what profit margin meant, I was like, wow, I'm really smart. I can teach myself just about anything. I was at the time teaching myself Italian and Japanese.
Wow.
So I took 2 weeks. Taught myself just about everything there was to know about concrete. The 2 youngest is
2 weeks. 2 weeks. How's that for an MBA? The 2-week MBA by Sin.
My 2 youngest is Boys' dad is a concrete finisher, so I'd seen him make a very decent living, just as a finisher. So I knew the numbers. It was a good possibility that it was right.
Right.
Like I said, I took 2 weeks calling Consolidated, calling Lyman Ritchie, calling Ready Mix, calling just about anybody who would talk to me. Asking
and what separates you from a lot of people is that you said you didn't have just an idea. So, concrete is a 80% margin, and it's an interesting business, and I wonder if I could feed my household with that. This difference, Sin, is that you took action. Now, you just picked up the phone and called, and give me an example of Lyman Ritchie Concrete.
Yeah, I'm like, hey, my name's Cynthia, and I just have a couple questions for you. What is slump? Like, what does the slump do, or what is slump in concrete?
Who are you? And why should I tell you? Are you my competitor?
No, I mean they're suppliers. So
they're
to
a customer,
them, it's,
vendor now. Yeah.
Yeah, to them it doesn't matter, and I say, what's a PSI and how many what does that mean? What does a 6-sack mean? And they would get mad sometimes and be like, why are you calling and being annoying? Are you going to place an order? Go away.
See, that's where they're nice to you. They thought you were going to place an order.
Yeah. So I would just ask and ask and ask and ask. And I mean, we live in the information age, so there was
How
a lot
many
of
different
Googling.
companies did you call, actually?
As many as would answer.
I mean,
I have
5, 10 companies?
Easily.
Easily?
12, 15,
12, 15,
yeah. I have
That's
them
awesome.
still in my phone to this day as like, you know, so and so company rude guy, so and so company awesome guy,
There you
so
go.
and so
That's
company.
funny. And let me guess, you probably order concrete now from the awesome guy as opposed to the rude guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great story.
Arms Concrete has been incredibly nice to me.
Which one?
Wayne at
Okay.
Arms Concrete
Okay, cool.
has been incredibly nice
That's
to me.
awesome.
They're my regular supplier now. So yeah, I took about 2 weeks, taught myself as much as I could learn
And
about
took
concrete.
action, just sucked it up and said, I'm going to call these people, they may hang up on me. And no one's ever punched you out through the phone, though, have they?
Not on the phone.
Not on the phone.
No.
And so that's an act of courage, and a lot of people wouldn't take that. You learn a lot. First, you learned a lot from Google, and then you learned from talking to people.
Yeah.
What happened next?
So as a social worker, I don't have a penny to spare at that point. You know, every penny is counted for, and I'm actually, you know, what is that saying? Robbing Peter to pay Paul or something like that. So I'm living in that kind of world at that time. I found out I could post a free ad on Craigslist for work.
Okay.
So under services, placed an ad. I think it said something along the lines of "Help me take my kids to Disneyland." You know, concrete work.
I love it.
Yeah, it was like concrete work, and I put all the flat work. I looked at other ads and saw what they included.
Okay.
You know, as far as flat work was concerned, and then I tried to post an ad on Craigslist for the workers.
Yeah.
And it was going to be $20. I didn't even have that, so I ended up going the route of Facebook and putting a Facebook ad for the workers. Told the workers that they needed to bring their own tools.
I love that. I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't start a business because I need equipment and an office and computers," and you told the workers, "Bring your own tools.
You need to have your own stuff when you come. You need to have your own things when you come to work."
Wow.
So I think it was about a week, and then I got my first contract.
Off Craigslist, off a free ad. Okay.
Yeah, went out and did a few bids, talked to a few people, and with the social work background, I'm able to kind of connect with people very quickly, and was able to get my first contract. I remember giving them my driver's license, so they knew I wasn't ripping them off.
This
Because
is my bond. I'm a real person.
I'm a real person, because by the way, I'm going to need you to give me half the money up front.
Now, I was going to ask, when the concrete truck comes, do they record a payment on the front too?
Yeah.
Okay, and so you're juggling, yeah.
Yeah, I've already
take the check from the customer and give the check to the.
Well, I had to buy lumber. That was the one thing I did have to buy for the forms.
Right.
So I take half the money up front, and I tell them that, like, I'm not licensed, I'm not insured, I'm just starting out. I just need you to take a chance on me.
This is a story of guts. You went out there and you just threw yourself out there, and that's a fantastic story. And so you got your first job. You got your first. You bid the concrete.
Yeah.
From 2 or 3 different vendors. I took the best one. And tell me how you felt during your first pour.
So my first pour was amazing because the guys didn't show up. The guys that said they were going to show up did not show up. Only one of them showed up. He wasn't an actual concrete finisher. He was just a laborer, so he was just going to help me break out the old concrete.
Right.
He got tired and couldn't keep going. So now it's my then 11-year-old and myself.
Oh, wow.
Breaking the concrete.
Wow.
Because concrete is going to show up at 11. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning.
No.
We're still breaking it up, like, by hand. And I am, like, at the same time multitasking, posting on Facebook. I need finishers, like, now.
Right now, yeah.
Somebody called. I said, "Can you come now?" There was 2 guys that showed up. Literally showed up at the same time the concrete showed up.
You're familiar with the term just-in-time manufacturing, where they bring in the parts right before they assemble the product. You're just-in-time concrete. Your people showed up just as the truck's about to pour it.
The truck showed up. The guys showed up.
Were you stressed out totally or not?
Completely, yeah. They showed up. Concrete shows up. It gets poured really quickly, actually. The guys came in. They knew exactly what they were doing. And I think it was like a $1,300 profit. And I was like dying.
Yeah.
Like just ecstatic. Like just
of course
dying.
you were, yeah. Wow.
And so I did it again. I did it again.
Yeah, the first 4 months, what happened then?
I did. So I did that working Saturdays from 7 to noon over the next 4-month period. Was able to generate $60,000 worth of revenue with a 40% profit margin.
Wow, 60,000 with a 40% profit margin, working 7 a.m. to noon on Saturdays while keeping your day job, and texting with this hand to get laborers and digging with this hand to do the work.
I have pictures of my boys breaking out concrete, hauling concrete, because we would have to prep it during the week sometimes, or earlier before the actual finishers got there. But yeah.
Well, tell me then, that's fantastic. Tell me what, I mean, how long did you keep your day job and all that? When the transition between going from full-time social worker and part-time concrete to full-time concrete?
So I didn't stop working until February of this year is when I stopped working.
Okay. Social work,
Social work. I was doing maternal, child, and adolescent health. That's when I stopped, was on Valentine's Day of this year. But last year is I met with Shauna Dorsey probably, after my first 20 grand, 15 grand, I don't know.
And who was she with at the time?
Shauna was the VP here at AIM.
Okay.
And she had started her own business. She had sold it for a fair, a really good deal. I knew that about her. Other than that, I think I had said hi to her once or twice. Met her in passing.
Sure.
And I sent her a message, said, I don't know if you remember me, I don't know if you know who I am.
Right.
But I started a business and I made a lot of money. I was like, I made so much money.
Right.
Because it was it was a lot, to me it was a lot of money.
Well, it is.
It is a lot of money. And I don't want to get in trouble.
Right.
So she...
How do I build a business around
How
this?
do I actually make this? I said, I'm not an entrepreneur, I'm not a business owner, I don't know how to, I'm not. I had a lot of I'm nuts. And she said, yes you are, because you're doing it. You are an entrepreneur, you are a business owner.
Right.
You just need support. And she was very, very generous. She opened her social network to me, and I think it was probably a 10-minute coffee meeting where she didn't even have coffee.
Wow.
She just busted out her phone and made all these connections for me. I met with Julia Parker from the Omaha Small Business Network.
Small Business Network? Okay.
I met with Wensley Duran and Savannah Cuevas at the Chamber, the REACH program.
REACH program at the Chamber, Omaha Chamber of Commerce. Okay.
And they all helped me pull together the information that I already had, the business plan that I already had, and the things that I thought I knew. So I had some pieces. I had my EIN, which is the employer identification number, which separates the business from myself. Right. But I didn't have actual business structure with the state, so they helped me LLC.
Formed the LLC, got your contracting licenses. And
I ended up getting the contractor licenses, all of that.
Insurance and all that. And the key to all this, I guess, is very obvious. I mean, you had at least 4 or 5 different mentors who helped you turn your side business into a real business, a real structured business. So mentors are the key, I guess, is what you're telling me. And then also one other mentor I think you've talked about is Jason. So, I mean, you were a social worker, and you went to Jason with not originally, but you went to Jason with a question.
So I saw Jason Feldman online, because everything's online now. I saw Jason Feldman online, and he had recently taken a trip to Guatemala. I looked at it, I thought that was an amazing trip. He had done it with Habitat. I was like, that is so cool. It looks like he dedicates his entire life to just being, doing cool stuff.
To being Jason.
Yeah, doing good things.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to meet with him just to kind of, just to pick his brain. I just thought he was a cool guy.
Right.
And in that conversation, I told him that I happened to own a concrete construction business, and that I was also still doing maternal, child, and adolescent health, that I was doing social work. And he was really quick to just, and I said, I don't know how to balance this, and I already have 4 boys, and I feel like I'm wearing myself really thin. Oh. And his response was, be yourself, and turn this profitable business into a social enterprise, and
So
he
do both.
educated me on what a social enterprise
And,
is.
and for the viewers, tell us what a social enterprise
So
is.
social enterprise is basically a for-profit business that does good in the community, that doesn't just chase the bottom line. It also changes to create impact in the community. So my company is, my slogan for my company, or my motto for my company, is creating concrete change.
I love it.
Yeah, nice and simple.
Not abstract change, concrete change.
Yeah.
That's great.
The ideal is to be able to hire underserved populations, teach them a trade. I think trades are very undervalued.
That's awesome. Yes.
They pay very well, and it's
Right.
something that you can do anywhere in the world. Once
Right.
you become a concrete finisher, you can go anywhere in the world
Right.
and do it.
Yeah. Everybody needs it.
And it pays very well.
Sure.
So
And you know, some customers you help out too. Tell us about
I
that.
also have a collaboration with Project Houseworks, which is an organization, is a nonprofit that provides free house repairs. I do the concrete work for free to the elderly and disabled.
Okay.
I don't necessarily provide my services for free. They're discounted significantly, but they pay for it with grants. So
Sure.
the actual homeowner gets
Sure.
it for free.
That's awesome.
And that's another way of being
So you're not
part of a
only
social
helping
enterprise.
the people who are in transition, underserved workers, learning trades and so on, you're also helping customers out there, maybe disabled or somebody like that.
Elderly and disabled.
Elderly disabled who need a better sidewalk or something like that. And
It's not
Julie-
necessarily a better sidewalk. The thing is that these are hazardous
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't think about this. A lot of people don't consider that concrete's very expensive.
Yeah.
It's very expensive work. It's a skilled trade, and if your mobility is not good, and you're living in an older home,
Right.
and you have to get out to your car, and
Yeah.
you're having to go over
Yeah.
cracked concrete, it's very
Well,
dangerous.
well, that's what I meant. You need a much better surface to be safe on, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it's a
you
safety
all
issue
provide
at
that
that
for
point.
you use underserved workers who are learning the trade to provide a service for people, elderly and disabled, who need that as well. It's truly doing good in the community. That's
And
awesome.
the ideal there too is that you're taking a population that has been dehumanized and by society, has been told that they're kind of a throwaway aspect of society, and you're rehumanizing them. I believe that in order to gain self-esteem, you have to do esteemable things.
Okay.
So it rehumanizes somebody.
Right.
Not just to the person that's receiving the free concrete work,
Right.
because they might have had a different
Right.
perspective of somebody who just
Interesting.
recently left prison.
Wow. You're helping on all levels.
It's a convergence.
Yeah. You are truly a broker. You're a broker of getting the help you need, getting the supplies you need, getting the concrete you need, getting the customers you need, and getting all these factions together to everyone wins.
Yeah.
Everyone wins.
If you give me a bucket of concrete, I wouldn't know what to do with it. Like, I wouldn't be able to do anything with it. But I can connect all the right people to do the right stuff.
Well, again, how about you as a potential entrepreneur or as an entrepreneur? Are you connecting all the dots? Are you making it so you can bring all the resources you need together? I think Sin is one of the superheroes of doing that. Maybe she can inspire and teach you how to do that as well. Sin, you're part of some organizations, and tell us more about that.
So last year through Jason Feldman, I got connected with Inspire Nebraska, and was able to have a meeting with Rachel Fox, sorry.
Yeah.
I just call her Rachel. She's just my
Hi,
friend.
Rachel. She was on the show earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. So and we were able to connect, and we're able to work on. Connected with her to be able to work on You Go Girl, which is
Right.
a summit that just happened, and if you've had a show, you know what it's all about. I'm also on the advisory board for Converge, and the
Tell us
mission.
about Converge, yeah.
That's with Jason Feldman and Kent McNeil. The mission of Converge is to empower enterprise to maximize social and environmental impact.
Okay.
So it's not launched yet, but it's hopefully soon to launch. It should connect new and established businesses to peers, mentors, resources, programming.
Okay.
The
Awesome.
ideal is so that you're not having to kind of do what I did, which is like cliff jump and fall on your face.
Well, as we wrap up, what was or has been so far, and it's only been a year or so of you doing this, right?
Yeah.
What has been the biggest challenge, and what did you learn from that?
The biggest challenge for me has been separating myself from the business and not taking it so personally. I have to Uber my kids home from school. Sometimes there's days that I don't see them. Sometimes I have to, skip the dishes to them their dinner, and so when things go wrong, I take it very, very personally.
Yeah, okay.
And it has been very hard on me in that sense.
Tough to separate, especially when you are the business. You're it. You don't have a big staff or anything like that to rely on.
Another big hurdle has been the fact that I do come from being a single mom, 4 boys, so I don't have like this 800 credit score to just go out and upgrade my business into like new trucks and take on bigger contracts.
Wow.
So that's also been a significant hurdle for me, and that's something that you just have to be patient with.
An amazing story. I wish we could go on, and maybe I'll have Sid back another time to go into more of it. If Sid was a single mom, wasn't feeding the household to her level of satisfaction, and started a side venture. Now it's full time. Got the mentors along the way. Got the help along the way. Put people together. Brokered everybody into one spot. Let's be inspired from this, because it truly is an inspiring story. Not only is it just a new business, but a social enterprise that's helping her feed her soul and helping feed many, many other souls. Sid, it's an honor to visit with you today. Thank you. Best of wishes and everything you're doing.
Thank you for having me.
And we will see you the next episode of the Grow Your Biz Show.